Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatiana, Life and Glow Wellness. In this video I'm going to compare a few books about retreats and retreat destinations. I practiced a few quite unique, very effective methods, and I started brainstorming how I can unite them so that they work all together. And I realized that retreat would be an amazing format to unite all those methods, or at least some of them. One of the most important stages of organizing a retreat is to find a destination, a place and venue for the retreat. Retreats can be held in a retreat or wellness center, also in a hotel or Airbnb. There are many different formats. Some people rent a private villa for that. Maybe someday I'll get to that too. For now, I'm just looking for a place which would match the atmosphere and ambience which I have in my mind. It turned out that it's not that easy to find a place just browsing some websites and some options. For visual people, it's easier to see pictures or to visit a place and then to estimate how appropriate it is for your retreat format. I took a few books in the library and studied them a bit, and I decided to make this review to compare them and show you the differences. Now, for those who are new to retreats, there are different types of retreats. Retreats can be relaxational, they can be educational, they can be more of a proactive coaching retreats. So basically, how active you are on the retreat, it does differ, and some of them, they leave some flexibility for activities, and some of them have a particular program which every participant follows. There are also retreats which have activities mostly inside the venue, and there are those who include outside. The majority of transformational retreats would offer some accommodation facilities, meaning that usually it's included in the package. So when you read the package, take a look at what is included there. I personally agree with my teachers who think that retreats should be at least 7 days, because that's usually the average time needed to let go of the hustle of your present life and dive deeper into some topic. There are people who hold a 1-day retreat or 2-day, 3-day retreats, weekend retreats. You would need to do your research to see what's best for you. I suggest that it's good to try at least once in your life a 5-7 day retreat. So the first book which I'm gonna review is called Wellness Escapes. And actually it's available on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description, so if you want you can buy it on Amazon. Among the books which I'm gonna review, this is the most compact book, filled up with information, so I would give it 8 out of 10 in terms of scale. It has a few chapters: active yoga, outdoor adventure fitness classes, wellness festivals around the world, calm yoga, nature meditation, healthy nutrition, nature spa treatments, so it's more relaxational, indulge spa treatments, food and drink luxury, inspired creative classes, personal growth, culture. So there is a big choice of what to choose. The pages are quite thin, however they are fairly sturdy. It's not laminated, but it has a nice feel. I think it's probably an eco-friendly version, which is nice. For each section also there is a list with pages of specific retreats, and usually one page is given for one retreat description, and in some cases they have a spread. I'd say that it's probably a great book to have in a collection at home, and especially if you plan moving. If you move a lot, you wouldn't want to have a lot of heavy books. This is heavy, but it's still manageable, so it's a great book to have in a collection. So the book gives a description, what activities are included, and also an approximate price. And there is also contact information and a phone. So, of course, choosing a retreat requires a lot of research, unless maybe someone recommended you a fantastic retreat and it fits your needs, and also it's within your budget. So it's a great book to have an overview what's offered, especially for wellness, yoga and relaxation retreats. So this book is published by Lonely Planet. It's written by a team of people. It's a fairly recent book. It's dated 2018. Although, of course, if you find it later, you'd have to check if this retreat still exists, because organizers don't always do retreats for many years in a row. Some of them change retreats, reframe, or change the location, so I'd always suggest to do more research. I have 2 more books on yoga retreats. This book is called Yoga and Spiritual Retreats, Relaxing Spaces to Find Yourself. I love this name, really inspiring. It's the first edition, 2015. Maybe there is a new edition right now, and written by Sybil Kramer. Again, there is the contents in the book. It's a beautiful book, but it's very heavy. What I love about this book, it has many more pictures. And if you're a visual person like me, if you're hungry for visual material, you'd probably enjoy just looking through this book. It covers a lot of different yoga studios and retreat centers. So if you're looking specifically for that, that would be a great book to take. On pages for some retreat centers, there is a plan. So there's a scheme of the, I'm not sure about the term, the architectural layout of the space, which is really helpful for organizers, especially if space size matters to you and how doors are located, and also for lighting. You see, so there's not a lot of text. So this book would be great for an organizer or for a person who wants to go to a retreat and to get an overview of different spaces throughout the world. This is a really good book, but it wouldn't give you information about specific retreats and activities that you can do there on a specific week. So you would have to do your research who is holding retreats in that location. Now, the next book which I want to mention is called Great Retreats Yoga, and it's a Taschen book, and as you know, Taschen has a series of wonderful books. I really like this publishing house. They usually have high quality pictures which are glossy and nice to touch, and also many Taschen books, they have text in German and English, which is convenient actually even if you're studying languages. For example, you speak English and you want to learn more German, or vice versa. So I find it's a fun thing to do. I know a little bit of German. I used to study German, and I like comparing some phrases, how they're written in English and German. In the end of the book, you can find different yoga styles. So it's a great reference for those who are not familiar with different styles. So you can see at a glance what's the difference. So they also have a map of different destinations. It's convenient to see at a glance which yoga retreats you can find in which part of the world. I really like this map. A description is in English, in German, and in French. I think it's not Spanish, it's French. You can also see contact information of the retreat center or ashram or hotel, and how many spaces are available usually, and how many rooms, how many spots are available for people. So both if you are an organizer or you're a participant, you can estimate the size of the retreat and see if it's a good fit. As some other Taschen books which I'm going to talk about today, it has a direction how to get to the place. It has type of yoga or type of retreat center or hotel, whatever it is. In this case, it has the teacher also, and type of cuisine, food, and also treatments and activities. So this book would be great for someone who is looking specifically for yoga retreats, for different ashrams and yoga centers. It gives a variety of destinations and interiors. As you can see, spaces really differ a lot. And you can also find some basic information about the building itself. So here, for example, you can see how far it's from the airport, also who is teaching, and some details on nutrition, on cuisine, and a variety of activities. So it just gives some basic information what to expect. Now, in terms of weight, this book is pretty heavy. There are how many pages? There are over 300 pages, 320 pages. And the edition which I have here is published in 2013. So maybe if there is a newer edition, it makes sense to find that edition. But overall, I think because it's retreats and ashrams, even checking the website will give information. I find that it's super inspiring just to look through this book. You can also compare different types of yoga and see what's the best fit for you. So the next few books are called Great Escapes, and they are devoted to a certain continent or part of the world. They are all by Taschen, except for one, and one of them is by Lonely Planet. So the first book which I'm going to tell about is called Great Escape South America. I bought this book on some sale many years ago, over 10 years ago. It's actually published in 2009. I fell in love at first sight with this book, and I look through it almost every month. I find it so inspiring, maybe just because I like South America style as well. As many Taschen books, it has a map, which is very convenient, so you can see where what is located. There is contents as well, and then you can see pictures with different venues. This specific book is not so much about retreats as an organizational event. It's more about certain venues. So let's say if you want to organize a retreat in South America, maybe looking through this book will help you to understand which place suits your needs. I have to say that some of them are quite expensive. They're created many years ago, and so it's kind of like heritage places. So be prepared that prices might be higher than you expect. However, as you can see, I have already many. I was inspired with many of these places, and I hope to visit as a tourist them someday. I assume also that this particular book might be great for someone who does filmmaking, because you can estimate location and maybe talk to those people to see if they allow any film shoots. There's quite a bit of a variety of different venues here. There are a few of the palace-style buildings, and some of them have a cozy Latin America feel. So you can see some gorgeous interiors here as well, and wonderful nature. Some of them they have also, they remind an Asian style as well. There is water in a few of them. Actually here I think it's a dry water. Here again you can see a text in German and English. Behind the text is a bronze background. It's a little bit difficult to read, but it's quite pretty. The font is, I would say, it's a bit too fine. And you will find distance from the airport. They don't put a specific price, they put $1 to $4 signs. They also mention how many rooms are available in that facility and a bit of historical background. Some very cozy interiors here, picturesque views, super inspiring atmosphere, relaxing, sometimes bohemian, sometimes very antique. I felt like I almost wanted to go to every place here. In my opinion, this book is targeted more to tourists, visitors who come for a few days or for one weekend, and to those places, rather than specifically targeted to people who are looking for retreats or who are organizing retreats. Now here is another book which is kind of like a sister book to the Latin American book. It's a North American Great Escapes. It is a heavier book, it is super heavy, also by Taschen. Even though I did like this book a lot, as I'm really fond of traveling. I don't travel a lot, but I love looking through books at least. And I did feel like it was a very inspiring book. But from a retreat organizer perspective, I didn't get a lot of value from this book just because many of these venues were really very pricey. This book does have a variety of styles, though some of them are done more in a Canadian, North American, woody style, and others are more of a Victorian style. There are a few of Art Nouveau stylistic, and some of them more for luxury retreats for rich people. So in this book you can also find pictures with fine dining and various types of locations. It could be a desert or in the woods or at the sea, so there is a variety. I think it can be a great book for someone who is organizing corporate retreats or trainings in North America, and you can estimate which place might be great for you. Big companies have usually a bigger budget for such retreats, so it can help. Show you one more. I like that venue. Now, in terms of what's written, I would say that it's a little bit of a drawback for me personally that they included the text on that sage olive background, because I find it a bit difficult to read if it's darker in the room. So I prefer some kind of lighter background, maybe eggshell. It looks stylish, but at least with my eyesight it's not easy to read. Also, information is in German and English. In the same style as the South American book, they mention the price, how to get from the airport, and a few details at what you can do at that retreat, that facility. Next book is Great Escapes Italy. Well, Italy is super inspiring, as usual. I have only been shortly to Italy, and I really liked it, although it wasn't enough time to visit a lot of places. So same principle, after contents they give you a map. And again, same type of information as I mentioned before. I like this background more, even though it's also darker, yet it's a lighter green, so it's easier to read. And you can see pictures. There are quite a few pictures for each place. And also it can give you an impression of various places in Italy. Many of them are not cheap, I have to say. Some gorgeous interiors and exteriors here as well. Italy is super inspiring. Interesting halls. When I see something like that, I always feel like it would be great to dance there. Social dancing. Now, if you're a retreat organizer or an attendee, of course it wouldn't be enough to just read this book. You would have to go and research. Or maybe if you plan a family vacation, at least you will get the first impression in terms of the feel of the place, its price and proximity to big cities, to the airport, and some activities that you can do there. So the next book which I'm going to show is called Great Escapes, Enjoy the World at Your Leisure. This book is by Lonely Planet Publishing House. It's also quite heavy with laminated pages, beautiful pictures. This particular edition is published in 2013. However, I think the publishing year doesn't really matter because it's not about specific retreat events, offers, but it's more about overview of some great destinations in the world to visit. So among the books which I'm reviewing, this book would be a great choice for someone who looks for a family vacation or for a getaway, to have a better idea what's available in the world and to find something inspiring. Now, the contents is divided into a few different chapters: culture, luxe, food and drink, romance, city, chill out, shoestring, family, wild, party. So depending on what type of vacation you're looking for, you can see that chapter and find a destination. I really love the pictures of this book. They're quite inspiring. The pages are thin but easy to turn over. Gorgeous architecture, I have to say. Each book is divided into a few sections. There are usually a few pictures per place, and there is some historical background, what kind of tours are offered in the place, some tips. What I like about this book is that they give some background connected to music and movies, and it's fun to see that a certain song, for example, of course, Lisbon. I love Lisbon. I've been only once there, but I completely fell in love. I felt like I lived there in the past life. So it mentions Lisbon's iconic places and also says that Fados in 2007, directed by Carlos Saura, one of the movies about Fado, and also I assume one of my favorite movies, Lisbon Story by Wim Wenders, might be shot in one of these venues. So this book gives some cultural background as well, which is nice. This book is in English, by the way. It also shows pictures with some cuisines and dishes. So basically it's just a great inspiration book in case you want to travel and explore different places. I also find that all these books are really interesting in terms of photography. Some of the books with great architecture can be inspiring for architects as well, or if you like to draw, you can take pictures from any of these books and try to draw and paint inspired by these pictures. They are also great for color therapy, and if you like photography, you can enjoy them from the photographic point of view to see what pictures you like or don't like in terms of composition, dynamics, and other factors. Also, this book mentions essential experiences. There is a map for the places, not the bigger map. Maybe it's still there, but I haven't seen it here. However, it mentions what kind of activities you can do there, and also what's the ideal duration of the stay and possible budget. Also, what type of the year is best to visit this place and things like that. And there is an index with all the places listed here, so if you want to find by index, you can also do that. So this book is called Ireland's 100 Ultimate Escapes. very ambitious project. So the contents is here, and what I love as usual is when there is a map included. So you can see what island is there. It's actually really interesting from a geographical point of view because I do not know all the islands personally, even though I was always good at geography. So it was kind of fun to go through them and to learn where is what located. This book doesn't mention a lot of logistical and financial information. This is just a list of different islands with brief description and a few pictures. Usually either one spread is devoted to an island and occasionally a couple of them. I think it's not possible not to like such books because they're just quite inspiring. But let's say from a photographic point of view, I was not super impressed with this book personally. I have a photographer background. Maybe I'm a more demanding reader than someone else. Some pictures, they are not informative enough. Well, for example, even though this is an interesting lunarscape, right? So I would rather prefer to have, say, 4 or 5 different pictures, or maybe at least 3, and this having as a smaller picture rather than having it occupying the whole page and not giving any more information, because after that there is already another island. It's just my personal opinion. I would prefer to see many more collages and pictures in this book. Let's say even to take these 3 pictures. They are okay, but in terms of composition and format, to me they look quite old-fashioned. So I'm not impressed with the composition of pictures in this book personally. To be fair though, some of them are very stunning, and this is an Easter Island, so I've seen some pictures of Easter Island and I haven't seen this one. I don't mind bigger spreads in general, it's just that if you want to see more pictures, and actually here it's nice they gave a second spread for this island. In terms of size, it's quite heavy and bulky, but the square size feels quite good, easy to open as well. The text is fairly short, so just because the format of the book is small and not like huge, of course they can't fit a lot of information. In general, it's a great book, it's a fascinating book. Look at this, it's interesting. In the end, there's also a list of all the islands mentioned here with the pages and some links who wrote the article as well. So overall, this book is great just for general impression about what islands exist in the world, but it wouldn't be my first choice if you're an attendee looking for a specific retreat or if you're an organizer looking for a retreat center. In spite of all the beauty of places, it wouldn't give you enough information to make a decision. There's also one unusual book in this list. It's called Europe, Monastery and Convent Guest Houses, A Pilgrim's Travel Guide. It's written by Kevin Wright, and it doesn't have colorful pictures, but it has a list of monasteries. So if you're into pilgrimage or you're religious, I assume that these places might offer some more budget accommodations. I haven't checked any of them properly to see if it's of interest for a regular traveler or organizer. Basically, this book lists a lot of different monasteries if that's what you're looking for. If I come across some great books about retreats and getaway destinations, I will let you know. Like, subscribe, comment with your impressions and mention questions, books you liked, and also tips, what helped you to choose a specific place for traveling, and what's your favorite destination for a retreat. My name is Tatiana, Life and Glow Wellness. Have a great day.